General Quarters.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to Day 4 of King of the Sea here on North America as we are bringing you the Sweet 16, this match between MHG and EPOXY. EPOXY has drawn the alpha spawn here for Game 1 on Shatter. Zath, talk to me about the EPOXY lineup.
Yeah, so EPOXY choosing to bring a Kremlin, a St. Vincent, both kind of built how you'd expect them to be. We see a Brizzy with torpedo focus. We got ourselves a legendary Des Moines, Guten Liu with airstrike setup as well as range, a Worcester Raptor, a Worcester, interesting. In front of him, we've got our favorite friend, Special K, with a legendary gearing torpedo spec. We've got Z42 with gun build, and finally another legendary torpedo spec gearing. Heading towards the Charlie side. What do we see for MHG, sir?
Opposing them from the south spawn here on Shatter is MHG, bringing a Kremlin and a St. Vincent of their own. Corey Bassler's Kremlin looking like, now he's running the unique upgrade on Kremlin, Zath. You'll have to refresh my memory on what that does precisely. But in front of him is Zeckles' St. Vincent, and Zath, I want you to notice early deployment. Both battleships headed to the western flank of the map. Going with them that direction is Holsch's Venezia, fairly standard build, a little bit gun reload there. And a Curious Shadows Yu Yang packing the radar there, and a little bit of gun reload. Headed to the other flank, well, let's see, Zolu's Howden Liu headed up the 6 line here with a very similar build to his opposite number on the opposing team. We have Nuke's Des Moines running range Des Moines, a second Howden Liu with a range build as well as some airstrike focus there. 2 destroyers headed over here to see. That's Memes' Grozovoy. Unique upgrade Grozovoy, interestingly enough. I'll have to check that one out. And then Unsi's Kleber, which is a fairly standard gun reload build there with radio location. Now, before we get too far, we're going to start seeing some action shortly. Unique upgrade Kremlin and unique upgrade Grozovoy. Refresh my memory.
Okay, unique upgrade Kremlin, 18% to main battery reloading time. However, a negative 12% to main battery firing range. In other words, it fires more frequently, but you can't reach anywhere near as far as it could before. Kremlin, of course, well known for up close in your face battleship action. So
yes,
not a bad trade-off for a Kremlin, especially on this map. And then as far as the Grozovoy is concerned, I had that pulled up as well. So that is 18% to main battery loading time as well. Little bit of a nerf to the turret traverse speed of 7%. More importantly, a nerf to torpedo reload time of 20%. So you focus it as guns, 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 everything else second.
Guns.
And a reminder that the Schlieffen was banned by both teams on this map.
Yes. No Schlieffen in this game, as some really, really aggressive, ballsy Kleber play from Unsi there picks up C for MHG under the nose of Big Boy's radar. Couple of salvos coming in, but none of them touching Unsi before he was able to sneak that cap in.
You know, I always talk about in replay analysis, like, never have an island behind you, but that's exactly what Onoshi did. He got away with it, which is just brilliant.
I love it when you give that advice to people, because you see it so often in random play, right? Destroyer captains will box themselves into an island, and then they have nowhere to run. They want to turn and run, and they can't. They have to. It makes their movements more predictable. But in that instance, it worked perfectly.
Notice, boy, I know, right? Going into the middle of the cap with the Z42 as well, just grabbing that under the noses of pretty much all of MHG. Zulu the Scrub trying desperately to Dutch oven him and failing both times.
Yep. Going in with the Howden Liu airstrike, not coming up with anything notable there. In fact, Nukes, Des Moines, and boy, I know, right's Zed just hydroing each other. Just, hey, how's it going? Across that island there on the eastern edge of the B cap. Not much going on over at A. Curious Shadows Yang starting to work the cap, drawing out a radar from Frosty Beverages Des Moines. They'll probably be able to push him back off the cap for a minute.
Yep. I'm interested in seeing... that's why. Okay. Beverages just outside of Curious Shadows radar range in the Yu Yang.
Okay. Got it. In other words, he's not counter radaring because there's just no point to it.
Right. He's probably figuring that the Des Moines is behind the smoke, and that's a good guess.
I gotta say, Shadow is playing this like just unflappable, right? Like he's taking some damage. It's not catastrophic, and he's just, I mean, He's just doing his thing. He can't get out of the radar in time, but he only sneaks away, what, about a little less than 4,000 damage out of all of that? That's pretty good. Some solid destroyer captaining there.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Now, I think, Zath, if I'm Nuke, I am super uncomfortable in this position on the southeastern corner of the B cap.
You know, it's kind of a difficult place to be. Usually, and I believe Scott's mentioned this earlier too. Usually we see Salem's on this map, especially playing around, as Bogsy called it, the Devil's Sphincter, because they have the ability to shoot things at long range and they can use that super heal. But you're absolutely right. Nuke is, I mean, I don't like that position, but he's not really being punished for it just yet.
He's not yet. I would, in his shoes, I would feel much more comfortable with a Salem in that slot. They're pushing Zulu's Howden Liu out with the Hydro on to try and push Boy I Know Right back off the cap. That's actually letting Zulu start to cap down here on the other side of Nuke. In fact, Nuke's now going to move up as well. But these guys have got to be careful. And what makes me uncomfortable, Zath, if I'm a Cruiser player, there's a Kremlin in my face. And who's excited about that?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, gee, who's the Kremlin going to choose to shoot at, right? I mean, he's got a selection. Not only is the Kremlin the threat, I think actually the bigger threat is the Wooster, because it can arc shells over islands that Nuke could normally hide behind.
Agreed.
And you can see that happening right now. Nuke forced to use his heal. Radar's up. Now it's expired.
Nuke's still spotted there by the Wooster radar.
Yeah, it's only a moment of time before he goes down, but you can see that Corey Bassler's Kremlin is also being brought up for kind of the opposite, right? Trying to get Boy I Know Right's Z42 out.
We talked about, you and I both generally will point out when we see battleships kind of in the same place on a map or whatever. And we pointed out earlier that both battleships headed to this eastern flank for MHG, but it makes sense now that because you realize where Corey was always meant to go is where he is at the moment, which is have his guns looking across the B cap.
So a little bit of insight. I was able to cover MHG's game. Who are they playing against? Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember. We did a KOTS deep dive during the week, and Zulu joined in and talked me through kind of how they plan for these. They watch every single replay of every single opponent that they will face.
Sure.
They've seen their comps, they've seen the way that they position, so they do their homework. And I think it shows here. Everybody on MHG is placed exactly where they need to be for this map.
Absolutely. Now, MHG had jumped out to an early lead, grabbing A, grabbing C, but they're going to lose C now because the Brisbane gearing pair able to move up and kind of zone out MHG's destroyer team, the Grozavoy and the Kleber over here at the C cap. They shoved Moose's St. Vincent into the cap, but he was basically just drawing bait. Everybody shot at him while Stalin's gearing able to pick up that cap. And so now what is about a 70-point lead here for MHG going to start to close.
Yeah, it's interesting to see just how many ships are currently just pointed at that B cap. Like, if you look at it, even Zekis' St. Vincent is being rotated now to try to make some sort of decisive play. Is he going to go up the channel, or is he going to keep going south?
Yeah, Zulu's making another play for B here. They've moved Nuke up into this gap in between
I love it.
B and C, Zath. You see this? I mean, he's spotted. They know he's there.
And they know the St. Vincent is there too.
Oh, yeah. And he takes a good solid hit there from the Dutch bombs as Vifire's Howden Liu takes some Kremlin shells in return.
Boy I Know Right is quite low in the Z42. Spotted
I think they pushed the Des Moines up here to get the radar on him to get him out, and it's going to happen right
there
here between the Howden Liu and the bombs. Yep.
Secondary hit.
Yep.
Took him out.
Nicely coordinated push from two MHG destroyers puts out EPOXY's destroyer here at the middle of the board. Our first kill of the game.
Zulu pops his Hydro, but it's too late to really dodge any of these torps that are incoming. He's going to take 2.
Yep.
Ouch.
That hurts.
That hurts a lot.
He's got a little bit of heal, but he's going to have to be very cagey about getting spotted for a little bit. Interestingly, MHG rotates Memes Grozavoy back to C. They've done a good job of pushing Big Boy's Brisbane back off the cap. The Brisbane radar is available. There it goes. They do catch Memes at the extreme range of it. Let's see if they can get the reset or not.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Gearing Stone's waifu is smoking up. The Tangerines will get some nice shots in. Oh, there goes Zulu. He flooded out.
Oh, he flooded out. I hadn't realized he was flooding.
Yep, and Nuke is almost gone too already.
Yeah, they're pushing. Yep, they decided the St. Vincent could handle this, and he absolutely can. MHG down one ship, about to lose another, trying to pick up C here. Looks like they might be able to do it, but I gotta say, the Howden Liu and the Grozavoy getting pushed with the St. Vincent, that's not going to be comfortable at all. Speaking
of St. Vincent, Zekis the St. Vincent did decide to go up the channel, but he's holding, and I don't know why he's holding. What is the plan for this? Are they looking at Moose? No, he's looking at the Kremlin. Then just go ram the Kremlin.
He just, didn't he get that torpedo? Looks like he got that torpedo into the Kremlin bow right there.
Yeah, I think so. He got the funny torp in.
They're trying to push both their battleships into the cap, as now MHG owns no real estate on the entire board. They've been pushed off all the caps for the moment. Special K sneaking into A, doing a brilliant job over there of picking it up. But now the Kremlin steps on to B.
Memes took a big hit back there over at C cap.
Yeah, he did. But I think his torpedoes are going to be very impactful against Moose here in just a moment. Moose is going to eat all 5 of those. It might be a Death Strike, Zath.
It is! Big hit there.
Wow. What a massive kill for MHG.
And it saves Nuke. It literally saves Nuke as he was firing AP right into that St. Vincent.
Brilliantly coordinated play there. And now, just like that, MHG up a ship right back onto all the caps.
That's right.
So, pushed off of them briefly, but not for long.
Both battleships now for MHG stepping into the B cap. Here comes that funny torp again on Wolfman 85's Kremlin. I think he'll miss this time.
This one's going to miss. Yeah, the Kremlin reversing and tweaking his rudder a bit there. That one is going to miss.
But look at the holes in the Venezia. At A, like just taking it.
Yeah, he charged in here after K rotated out of the cap. We saw that a moment ago. Zekis getting just hammered by the Dutch bombs, though. St. Vincent very vulnerable to that Dutch airstrike. Not having a lot of deck armor. They got the Brisbane.
Tangerines takes out the the Brizzy. Look how close he was. He just went straight at the smoke, saying, "I don't care about the smoke at all."
Once the St. Vincent was in that gap, what was to stop Tangerines? Nothing. The Brisbane's not a threat to him.
Speaking of not stopping, Nuke has decided to just go straight at Vifire's Howden Liu.
So he is. They're focusing Zekis. Zekis now popping one of his fancy St. Vincent super heals as Nuke comes around the corner right into the stern of Vifire's Howden Liu.
Yep, and Corey Vassler's Kremlin, he's just backing up saying, all right, keep advancing, Kobe. Keep going. I'm ready for you.
This might be one of the few times, Zath, that we've ever seen kind of putting the 2 battleships together to work in tandem work as well as it has.
Curious Shadow's about to get a brilliant deep water torpedo hit on this Wooster. He's got Hydra on. He knows they're coming now. It's too late,
though. He can't dodge them all. He takes 2, actually. Goodness gracious, what a huge hit.
That's a big hit. Now, his DCP was available and running at the time. Heals up, too. As Curious Shadow pays for his insolence at A. Zekis, though, quite low.
Zekis, I think, is finally going to go out here either to this strike or a secondary hit. Somebody's going to get him. They're going to get Vifire's Howden Liu. They're going to lose the St. Vincent. I'm assuming that Wolfman is trying for the ram. There's nothing to stop it now. No, he's gearing up for the drive-by, Zath. Look at his turrets.
Yes, he wants to. He's doing the hero play. He wants the Moine, and he wants the ram.
He gets the ram, but he doesn't get to fire. Corey lives.
Corey lives.
Is Corey running? Is he running a ram flag?
Oh, come on. Absolutely. You should be if you're in this point.
Wow.
Let's take a look. Yes, he is.
I saw one. Goodness gracious.
And was the other Kremlin running a ram flag? Let's see. Yes, he was too.
Really? That's that weird ramming mechanics where when you're reversing, you don't take the same kind of damage.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Yep. Well, it's now still a 1-ship lead for MHG, but their score is now over 250 points ahead as they own the B and the C cap. They're going to lose control of A, but if you're Epoxy, what's your way back in? I mean, I don't think you have one.
Look at this Kleber all the way up at the north on the 7 line. You see this, Raptor?
Yeah.
He's just...
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can sit and smoke if you want. That's fine. I'll just wait for you.
I'll just wait. I can wait you out. I can wait you out, buddy. Yeah, Unsi getting a little cheeky here, but I love seeing this kind of duel. I mean, in my opinion, this duel only ends the one way.
Yes.
I mean, if you're a gearing, if that Kleber has his reload booster available, and he does, I just don't know how you win that fight. Unless you get a lucky torpedo hit.
Yeah, Memes and the Grozovoy doing a nice job of smoking up nukes Des Moines. Just little insurance
just in case.
there.
Absolutely. Why take the risk? Why take the risk? Covey's Wooster also back in the fight now at over 11,000 HP. He was very low after taking those 2 deep water torpedoes earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're about to see the resolution of the Kleber gearing fight.
Oh.
Is Unsi going to take a torpedo? He is not. Oh yeah, this is gonna be over very quickly.
Oni just barely dodged those gearing torpedoes.
3 salvos. Unsi pulls the handbrake, and the last ditch gearing torpedo salvo is meaningless.
Super ultralight braking.
Indeed, 400-point lead now for MHG. Feels like they're in the driver's seat, Zath. I don't think EPOXY's got a way back in. Special K looks like he might be trying for a torpedo charge on the Kremlin. No, his torpedoes are all down. He's got 2 racks in the water already.
Yeah, I think he was hoping that Corey was going to move forward, or that MHG was just going to walk further into B. Kind of that default maneuver. I don't know what to do, so I'll just advance. Didn't happen. K coming around the butt now. Corey might go down as Covey gets Dutch ovened.
They do get Covey with the bombs, and that's going to do it. We're seconds away here from an MHG win in Game 1, Zath. They looked really, really good.
That's why we picked him.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, this is a best of 3,
Again,
so...
Yep, we'll be headed to Game 2 shortly, but I cannot get over, right? You and I usually, when almost, we've been doing a lot of King of the Sea over many years, and almost invariably, when you see 2 battleships on the same team going to the same flank, it is a strategic mistake. It's a failure, and it almost never works out. And yet here for MHG, I almost dare to say it looked like one of the keys to their win.
That rotation of the St. Vincent, absolutely to the south there. He had the option to go in the channel or continue going south to reinforce the Charlie side of it. He went through the channel, and it proved to be very, very decisive.
Yeah, absolutely impactful, having both battleships there able to hold that Kremlin in place and eventually pick up that kill.
Well, what do you say we throw it back to the studio and have them kind of do some analysis of their own? All right, everybody, welcome to Game 2 of MHG versus EPOXY. EPOXY down a game, looking to force a Game 3 here on Loop. Raptor, what do we have for EPOXY, sir?
Here and the green on the north spawn this time is EPOXY, bringing Ohio Kremlin. St. Vincent banned by both teams for this match, so for this game, I should say. So no St. Vincent's on the board. Fronted by Des Moines, Stalingrad, Marseille. Let's have a quick look at builds. I forget sometimes that we have this amazing tool. Yeah, Ohio's a fairly standard build, a little bit of survivability. Upgrade slot, American upgrade in slot 6. Kremlin's gone reload. Marseille reload as well. Now the Marseille has gone also heavy AP shells. One of them has, Walrusy got double Marseille here. Big Boy opting for a little more gun reload there. And then Covey's Napoli on this flank, also going for reload and radio location. Special K Shimakaze going a full torpedo reload build here, not unique upgrade. He is diving towards the middle of the board very quickly. Headed to the other flank, Frosty Beverages Des Moines. Fairly standard there, running unique upgrade as well. Stalin's gearing, same as build we saw last time, torpedo build. And Boyanorite in a Stalingrad this time. And he is also headed over here to A in a range build. Talk to me about the MHG lineup, Zath.
Yeah, now this map is quite a large map, so a range build makes sense in a Stalingrad.
Absolutely, yep. It's a huge map.
To the south, opposing them, MHG, looking to 2-0 this series and force us to find a Game 3 someplace else, is bringing a unique upgrade Kremlin, same build as last time. Sniper Ohio. We've got Nuke headed towards the B cap with a range Des Moines, fronted by a torpedo spec unique upgrade gearing. Memes Kleber is sitting in the middle between B and C, ready for whatever happens with a reload gun build. Zulu the Scrub just walking right into C-Cap, saying, well, if nobody's going to be here, I'll just take it.
Completely uncontested, yeah.
Completely uncontested. But look at his torpedoes and look at Holsch's torpedoes. Do you think they figured out what where they expect the enemy to show up? Look at that. So Zulu going in there with the range build. Holsch's Venezia all set with the reload also in this Venezia. Now, I didn't talk about it last game. Holsch's Venezia is set up to just nuke from orbit any destroyer that gets detected. So keep that in mind when you see him going out there. He's playing not long range Venezia, but up front, up close and personal. He's looking for Special K. Ancient Tangerines in the Moskva is using a legendary unique upgrade that gives a tighter spread and believe longer range at the expense of reload. And then we've got Curious Shadow with a unique upgrade, torpedo spec, full torpedo spec, helps with the Shimakaze torpedo reload at the expense of the rotation of those turrets. They are glacial, so he's not able to turn sides that easily with that Shimakaze.
Now, Zath, I want to point something out here. Special K, I believe, is now running the 12-kilometer torps on his Shima. Check Curious and see if you can figure out what he's running, but Special probably would have landed some torpedoes against Tangerine's Moskva had they had the range just then.
Both Shimakazes are running 12-kilometer torpedoes, at least according to the mod that I'm looking at.
Okay. You do occasionally see the 20-kilometer noob tubes in King of the Sea because the range is very impactful. And that range is one of the reasons that gearing is a popular pick, or at least having a gearing in your lineup is not that unusual because of those 16.5-kilometer torpedoes that gearing packs.
Right. Now,
Tangerine's spotted now.
Interesting, if you look at the map, MHG is kind of spread out evenly-ish. Epoxy's gone a different approach. They're just putting both beef sides on the flanks, trying to make something happen.
Well, and it's interesting to me, you have a look at this, Zath, because they've done the same thing, sort of, that we saw last time, right? You've got both battleships on the same flank, here the A flank. Epoxy setting up very clearly for a huge push down the 2-3 line. Actually, I should say MHG did this last time. Epoxy now doing it. They're gearing on that flank. That Stalin took a torpedo just a moment ago.
He did take a torpedo from Splendid Furious 1's gearing, and there's more coming. Nope. Okay, they're okay. Yeah. But this is. I covered a replay of MHG on this map. This is exactly what they did last time.
Well, this isn't MHG. This is you mean Epoxy? Oh, have these two teams played before? Because
no,
you mean Epoxy's doing
this is exactly what MHG did last time.
Oh, you mean them spreading out?
In that KOTS replay I covered on loop. I just can't remember their opponent at the time.
Okay. In other words, they spread out like this, covering all this territory.
Yes, and this was actually against NABR that they did this play.
Okay, got it. This Epoxy push really intrigues me, Zath, because, one of the things about Loop's new cap configuration, if you can solidly do a pretty good job of locking up control of A and B, pushing from there into the middle and taking control of C becomes much simpler.
Look at D quickly. Curious Shadow going sideways to torpedoes. He sees them. Oh, skill, no luck. It just expired.
They ran out of range, didn't they?
Right next to him.
He's probably clenched up just a little bit right now.
Brown alert.
6 minutes gone. It's about a 120-point lead here for MHG because they've been ticking up 2 caps for quite a while now. Whereas Epoxy only ticking up the 1 cap that they were gifted at the start of the game there in A.
Now, the thing about this kind of, like you're talking about, the double battleship push, right? I mean, the thing about Loop is you're either going to win one flank or you're going to win the middle. But if you kind of go for the middle, then you could potentially give up both sides, and then you got crossfires coming in. So Epoxy feels like their path to victory is winning one side hard. But if you look at it, they're also pushing on the 10 line at this point with the double Marseille.
They are, and what I like, I was going to point this out, right? The Marseilles sort of function like path battleships, for lack of a better word, on this flank, right? As both of them now, with their speed boosts up, just if nothing else, their presence this close to the decap kind of zones out the MHG defenders. And what I'm expecting to see, Zath, right? The Stalingrad of Boy I Know Right and the Kremlin of Moose on the Loose just now starting to move south out of the A-cap. I think you're going to see them turn and kind of face into the middle of the board as this push over down the 1 line, Wolfman, Frosty Beverages, and Stalin's, wraps into the B-cap. And then from there, they're going to own those caps and probably try and push into the center of the map.
You know what I want to see is happening? I want to see what the Kleber is going to do memes over in the
Yeah.
Charlie cap. He's exiting Charlie now.
Running north.
He's running north, so he can back cap the Kremlin, Stalingrad, Des Moines, Ohio gearing push over there out on the east flank.
I love it. That'd be amazing. I'd love to see that play.
Yep.
Looks like he's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, it looks very much like it. Torpedoes now coming in, forcing the Marseilles and Covy's Napoli to duck behind cover. Covey barely dodges that last torpedo. That's going to slow that push down significantly, actually.
It is, and I have to wonder now if they're not letting Covey get up here for his smoke. Is his smoke available? It is. You know, sometimes I see some people, some streamers that I know, right? They'll use Giuseppe Verde and like a couple of Ruprex, and you just shove them all in one big smoke ball and have fun with it. But these Marseilles now, okay, Walrus's Hydro is up. They see those torpedoes coming. They know they have to do something.
Yeah, boy, I know, right? Stalingrad is starting to get farmed. I love this play. Zulu opening up with a Z42 in smoke. Memes opening up with the Kleber.
Well, they're AP, but they know Memes is there, but right now they can't do anything about it.
That's right. That's Kleber AP, which is quite handy against a broadside cruiser like boy, I know, right? Stalingrad.
Absolutely. Well, what started out as a lead for MHG quickly starting to close. Less than 100 points here. 8.5 minutes gone as the Epoxy push down the 1 line succeeds in grabbing B. Their push down the 10 line succeeds in grabbing D. And now, I'm sure they don't really care that they don't own the center of the board at all. They don't need to.
Well, we say that now, but I have a feeling that might come back to cost them. Tangerines, we didn't really catch it, taking a lot of hits here from those Marseilles, as Special K Shimakaze is broadside to torpedoes. Oh, that must have been some serious desync right there, at least on my view.
Found a nice gap there. He's out scouting in front again as they're trying to push Tangerines off the board. Tangerines quickly running out of room to run away if K's continuing to keep him lit. K is very deep. I mean, he's very alone out here.
That's what K does, as both Marseilles do take a torpedo. That does again slow them down, but K, as we know, Raptor is a destroyer prodigy.
Oh yeah, that's his focus. More torpedoes continuing to come in on this Marseille push as the Kremlin starts to land some hits on Walrusy. Big hits there. The SAP doing some work.
Yep, and now the torpedoes, these are going to act to split the Marseilles up. Big
Just
boy's going to have to turn a bit. Meanwhile,
we have had
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we have had a lead change here as we cross over the halfway mark of the game. Epoxy out to their first lead of the game. In fact, their first lead of the day in a match they desperately need to win to force a game 3. They're going to get Walrusy,
Yep, there goes Walrusy. Now, Bueno right, again, look at him. He's backing up. He's on fire. And look to his north.
Yeah, well, and Memes, they've done a good job of farming down the Stalingrad, but Memes, I'd say, I don't know, if I'm Memes, I'm still not necessarily comfortable with that health to get into a gunfight with the Stalingrad.
Which is why he's holding.
Yeah, you put the Stalingrad out, things change. I'm much more interested in be like, okay, let's get in this cap, let's do something.
Yes.
In fact, Memes is joggling his throttle. He's trying to time it. There comes the radar. He was trying to time it so that the Stalingrad would be dead when he touched the cap.
Or he was waiting for the Stalingrad to DCP, which just happened, and there it goes.
There it is. There it is. But Memes is lit because he went ahead and fired.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if Moose is getting his guns around. As now the gearing.
Yeah.
That's Splendiferous stepping back onto B. Oh, they hit Memes. Again, more shells going out. Radar going up for Splendiferous.
Ori in trouble in his Kremlin, taking some...
They missed.
Shimakaze torpedoes on the other side of the map. And Tangerines is able to turn around with his Moskva, go bow in towards the enemy, and has Special K on radar.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked he was able to make that turn and live to tell the tale, but for the moment, it's working. Special dodges the Venezia salvo. Memes did survive Moose on the Loose's backup salvo there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were not able to defend B, unfortunately. Splendiferous's daring does pick up B. It's a 110-point lead in holding here for MHG. 60 seconds to play on the timer. A single kill could flip this game. If Tangerines goes down, that's a huge kill for Epoxy.
Oh, and they need this desperately right now, looking at that score.
They need those points as Beam steps onto A. There's the points. That narrows it to almost back to a tie game. Less than 10 points now separate these teams as each team flipping a cap. Well,
Wow.
I said that, but now look at Curious Shadow. He's back capping the Marseilles.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And they can't do anything about this.
Look at Zulu the Scrub Z42. Look at how close he's getting. He's flirting with his concealment right now. Moose taking torpedoes because of that.
MHG back out to the lead here, 20-ish, almost 15, let's say about 15 points or so. 25, excuse me, and growing. 40 seconds on the timer. MHG now picking up 3 quick caps.
Yeah. Frosty
Shocking
Beverage
to
is taking
see.
torpedoes.
Shocking to see caps change this many times, Zath. Oh, Frosty gets hammered in there.
He does absolutely get hammered. Well, like I said at the start, when you put your beef on both flanks, what happens? You just go up the middle. Beautiful
Yeah.
play. Zekis now with more torpedoes coming in on him in his Ohio.
MHG can't afford to lose a ship here. If they do, and they might lose Zekis here with 10 seconds on the timer.
Wow, they win in 10 seconds.
2,300. He's still lit.
He's DCP.
820.
Oh, he goes
They got him.
down.
995, and they managed to bag the kill that flips the score. They get another kill.
They get
Now they're at
Shima-
996.
Look at K just
They're gonna
YOLO
win, Zach.
charged.
They
K
did it.
goes down.
They did it. No, my goodness. They
K
didn't.
goes down. Holsh's Venezia smacks him with sap as he
Oh.
pulls off a drive-by.
Epoxy got to 996, Zath,
Oh
and
my
lost a
God.
ship. And lost K.
Who's left? Holsh and Kovi. Napoli Venezia
and
showdown
Kovi.
right now.
Oh,
Right now.
Holsh is gonna. I think Holsh is gonna. No, he's gonna dodge most of them.
got it. Kovi's got it. No, not enough.
The other torpedo rack, maybe. He's running out of time.
He's got to swing
6
around.
seconds.
He's got to
He
swing
doesn't have the
around.
time for it. 6
Here's the
seconds.
torps,
2
here's the
seconds.
torps.
It's not happening. It's too late.
Oh.
Wow. Who actually
Oh.
won? MHG actually won. Okay, good. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, wait a sec. Wait to see which team.
Whoa. I could have sworn when Epoxy got the kill and ticked up to 996, I was like, that's it. It's over. They managed to claw it back in the last second. And then K died. I wasn't even looking at K. That's crazy.
I wasn't either. As soon as we saw that other battleship, I looked at the minimap, I saw the Shimakaze, I saw the Kremlin, I said, oh, how did we miss this? Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, what an insane finish, ladies and gentlemen.